Are we on? Hey guys,
Are we on?
National Joe, Tampa Drain Dudes. Today we're here in the Wesley Chapel-ish area, and we've got a good-sized job this time. Basically,
Hey boy.
we're gonna, I'm gonna go ahead. It's not zooming out. Oh, there we go. We're gonna start over. Alrighty, now we are good to go. Basically, this client's got a really strange graded yard. The other side, I'm not gonna go over there. I'm gonna show you guys an aerial satellite view of the property we're at. See that pond there? It rains and it floods, and they're doing a bunch of road work, and it's gonna make it all worse too. So, customers taking proactive measures to take care of their home.
Yes, sir.
Joe, walk us through this real quick. What's happening?
Absolutely. So the first step of this process here is we're going to take this wall. As you can see, it already has some cracks in it. We're going to excavate all that out, put some foundation sealant on there, prevent any more water intrusion. We're doing the same thing on the adjacent wall. The boys are already digging that out and getting good work done. So once that's all sealed up, we'll start putting in our drain system. It's going to start pretty much at the back corner of this lanai, come down the side, down the back, down the side into a sump pump. That sump pump is then going to be routed and pushing all that water out here to the front. Once we get to here, Nash has already started doing a great job on this. We're going to have a couple basins that collect water from getting into this garage door right here. That is also going to be routed out towards the front. On the other side of this home, we're doing a simple gravity system from the back corner of the lanai all the way down to the front, picking up a couple downspouts as well. All in all, not a bad job, just a lot of footage.
Yep, a lot of stuff going on. The neighbor's house is higher than the current house that we are at, so all the runoff is coming down and flooding their garage area, that entry right there. So we're going to do a little gravity system right there. We're actually going to tie the sump pump into that gravity system and let it carry on down. That way we're not having to run two separate lines all the way down. Problem and why we need a sump pump on this job is because there's a huge bowl in this yard. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's all a massive low spot. But like Joe said, guys just trenched out this area. We're going to use dry lock, which is a foundation sealant. It's like a rubberized waterproof coating, and we're going to apply that to this wall and this wall here. You can see the moisture in those stucco lines that have been repaired already. So who knows how much water's getting in down at the bottom where it meets, but we're going to take care of that. Run all the downspouts into the sump pump, and all these catch basins you see laid out here are going to prevent any water coming from this pond when it overflows on this back wall to getting into their pool in their lanai area. It'll get into that pump and pump it out. Pretty simple. On the other side, we've got the usual, the basic downspout redirecting. This is a pretty big overhaul with a combination of different things going on, but if you guys want a video for just how to redirect your downspouts, I'll go ahead and link one right here. Or is it on this side? I don't know. But we're basically going to start right here with a one-way catch basin, and we're going to go down there to the sidewalk, and we're going to tie in two downspouts along the way. Pretty simple, just getting the water out of here on this side. This side's got good grade, but that area is just a big old cereal bowl. If I had to pick the cereal, I'd say Cocoa Puffs today.
Cocoa Puffs are a good choice.
Or maybe Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That sounds good this
I'm
morning.
a Fruit Loops kind of man.
You're a fruity kind of guy. You could say that.
Is the doctor around? Because we have a burn victim here.
Hot burn, huh? All right, let's go. Hi, Brian. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good day. All right, 1 hour update. I've got these basins dug and the sod cut out all the way down. Whenever you're running a 4-inch solid line, just chop the sod about a foot on each side and then go down the line. You can just remove them. We like to set tarps aside. It keeps a nice clean trench. And whenever we backfill, the yard will be clean as well. You can see right here what we have is a one-way basin. We're going to be running the sump pump into this system as well, since it's gravity from here down. We take a one-way catch basin and put a hole right through, use a 1.5-inch hole saw, which is the same as our coupler for our 1.5-inch pipe, and it's seated in there nicely, so when we run that sump pump, it'll connect right to here. These catch basins will be perfect for catching water that comes down off this side yard And they also act as clean out points so we can access in the future and take out any lawn clippings. Joe's getting this side dug up right here. He's removing all of the dirt from the side of this foundation right here so we can make it look like the guy's side over here. You can see they excavated this whole area, and now we can see that edge of the foundation where the aggregate comes in. And it goes from stucco to that concrete. Hopefully you can hear with those pool pumps, but a lot of the times whenever we see water intrusion, it's right here where the stucco meets. We'll get little holes in there, little hairline cracks in that water. When it hits the water table, it comes up and can enter into those cinder blocks on all these houses here in Florida.
That's bad.
Now they're getting this area trenched out. We're gonna be running this drain down the yard in the middle and coming across into this flower bed right here where we'll put the sump pump right by Tristan. All right, you can see Joe's come in with the sealer. All it is, just applies just like a paint. It's a real thick rubberized coating, and it covers any cracks, hairline cracks, or minor holes that might be in here. If you have any larger holes, you know, like the size of a quarter or bigger, definitely want to seal that up with something besides the dry lock. You want to use some kind of cement fix for that for sure. Anything a little bit in between there, you could use hydraulic cement, but for this dry lock, it just paints on. Lasts a real long time, and it goes on really easy. Make sure to get the undersides like he's doing right now. All those overhangs really well. You guys have trenched the sump basin right where we're putting or the sump pit where we're putting our sump basin in. Going up here, we've got the trench for the basins and most of this dug as well. This job we're just doing corrugated pipe, solid pipe, so we don't need any kind of fabric or rocks. You can cut it with a good sharp knife or a sawzall, however you like. And whenever you join these, they just pop into these, all the fittings of the catch basins, any Y's or T's, they pop right in. And then I like to tap them with just a screw just to hold them in until we backfill. If you guys have a bunch of shrubs or plants, if you were going, say, alongside in there, definitely recommend tile taping them. It's just a waterproof tape that helps those roots negate the roots a little bit longer. That way the roots don't grow in as quick. Eventually roots are going to get in if you don't maintain the system regardless, but we don't have that issue over here. So we're just going to tap them with a screw, and then when this dirt finally settles after a couple of rains, this is going to be a really tight locked in system that should flow really well. Had a bunch of electrical lines, irrigation lines to cross under. Most important thing whenever you're digging underneath irrigation lines or electrical lines is that you don't do what's called a belly.
Dude, put that thing away. They're like children here.
Naturally, whenever you dig under them, you're going to want to go under and come back up and then start your grade over. But if you do that, all the roof granules and debris are going to gather in that low pit, stack up and clog and ruin your drain. So make sure you always keep a good incline going down. If you cross under a pipe, make sure you're still going deeper after that. And if you can't, get to the end and keep proper slope and you want to continue to do a gravity system, relocate those irrigation lines, chop them, do a 90 and make them go up higher or lower. But don't sacrifice the slope in your drain to get past them. All right, went, took lunch, came back, been back about 2 hours now. They got this side completely dug and buried. This is all just solid drain pipe with catch basins. I think we got 5 or 6 of them across this backside. 1, 2, and you can see we just put the sod back on top and it sits a little bit. We have kind of a ridge line. We do that on purpose because over time, as the soil settles and we get a couple rains, it'll sit back down level, and we want the yard to be level. We don't want to put it level now and have it sit some more and then have kind of a belly in the middle of the whole yard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 catch basins coming through here, and then we turn right here and continue inside the garden bed where they have a lot of water pooling inside. This comes down into our sump pit, where we'll have, obviously, our sump basin. Downspouts are tied in. And there's also a line in here with 2 catch basins along the house. Brandon's backfilling that pipe right here. We like to do catch basins after these downspouts because these asphalt shingles build up quite a bit. They'll land into that catch basin where we can clean them out in the future if needed. And we've got the sump pump line dug as well, and I'm starting to lay that line. Joe's backfilling over here. That sump pump line is going to come from that sump basin along the trench we've already dug, just to make it a little bit easier for us, down and down the line this way. It's 1.5 inch PVC pipe. You can run up to a 2-inch with most of these residential sump pumps. That being said, we like 1.5 inch on our Zollers. We like to run the 1020s and the 1098s a lot. Really good quality systems. They pump out a lot of water, anywhere from 40 gallons a minute, depending on your head, up to 60 something. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they pump a lot of water out fast, and that's the main picture you need to get from this. When I plumb this whole thing, I'll show you guys how we put it together, but as far as the PVC goes, we just use the one-step fusion. You can use regular PVC glue and just glue each joint as you go down like you would at any other PVC job. I will show you down here though how we ran this. About in this point right here, it starts being downhill again. So we don't need that pump anymore. We don't need to trench another line for that. So we run it right into that catch basin and it continues in line. That actually will help these 2 catch basins with flow because this area, even though it is downhill, it's not crazy slope. So this water will help push it out and down. Dry lock is dried, so it's ready to be covered completely. And I'm gonna make my turn here and run the rest of the sump line so we can get that sump pump all hooked up, plumbed out, and ready to go. Then we can test this side. All right, we've got our sump line coming up and ready to be pumped out. This is our drain line for the 2 downspouts and those catch basins that go under there. And then we have this line coming in here. First thing we're gonna do is tie these lines in. These sump basins have flat faces, but any sump basin will work. Take you hole saws for whatever size pipe you got. 4-inch pipe needs a 4-inch hole saw. The corrugated fit in real nice because you can just make a slit down it, fold it over itself, and it expands and will be real tight in that hole. And then 1.5 inch for your 1.5 inch pipe. Now you can make that 1.5 inch pipe come in from the lid and go out. We like to do it going into the side. That way it's easier to take the lid off if you ever need to access and service the Zoller sump pump once we get in here. But I'm gonna go ahead and knock out these holes for this with the hole saw. I will say, just a pro tip of the day. I know the whole point of hole saws is to cut and that the teeth move forward like this in a clockwise motion. Try putting it counterclockwise. That way the teeth don't grab and spin out of your hand. Put it in reverse on your drill, let it spin counterclockwise, and it cuts way smoother, especially on thinner plastics like this. Heats it up and pretty much melts the way through. But I don't know, that's my tip. Oh my God, it's a spike in. Could be me and you, Brian, but you went back to Chicago. People are going to be very confused. Anyways, time to plumb this puppy. I think I said 1020s earlier. I meant to say 1052s is what we run. But the 1098 is the big boy in my opinion. This one's great though. We don't have a ton of water running into this one. Mediocre amount. 50 gallons a minute will do. We also don't have hardly any head or height that we're going up to. Is that funny? We're not going up very high, so it'll keep that 182 liters per minute. Yeah, I just did that math.
I'm surprised you know the metric.
It also says it on the box.
Yeah.
But that's
a cheater.
That's 48 gallons a minute, roughly. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and plumb this thing. I'll go ahead and show you the pieces real quick, how you need to plumb it, and then I'll put it together, and then you can do it yourself. Like, I gotta figure out how to get the box open first. It's childproof. All right, you know what? We're setting the camera down. All right, now that I got it out of the box. Oh no, that was a close one. Almost fell in the abyss. First thing you need, 1.5 inch male threaded to a standard female coupler. This is gonna go right on here. Don't worry about gluing this first piece, because if you glue it, you might never get it off if you ever need to service it. So that one can go right there. And then we're gonna need a cutoff piece of regular 1.5 inch, just to fit another coupler on that. So 3-4 inches is gonna be perfect. And then we're gonna do this check valve. Check valves allow for water flow in one direction. They've got a directional flap on the inside that lets it go one way and not come back. The whole purpose of this is once we pump up that riser pipe and out, we're going uphill. We don't want the water to come back down, fill up, and just keep recycling, because your electric bill is going to be higher than Snoop Dogg. You know what I'm saying?
Who?
So after we get that riser pipe on, which in stores, it comes just like this. These two couplers are flipped, so you're going to have to reverse them. Right now, that 1.5 inch pipe is not going to fit like this. So you just take off each of these hose clamps, flop that around, and then make sure that your arrow is pointing in the correct direction. There's all kinds of check valves. Use any kind you want. These are just the ones that are available. They work good, they haven't failed, and they run great. You can also get Zollers check valves if you want. After that, so it's going to look like that. In between these two, drill a little weep hole. That way this doesn't get airlocked. Remember, that pumps out all the water. It's going to be sucking in a little bit of air. You don't want it to get airlocked and damage the pump. These Zollers already have a little hole right here inside of that pump housing, so we don't have to worry about that. But if you get a cheap, poopy pump, keep an eye out for that. From here, we're going to go to our riser pipe, which can be as high as you possibly need it to come out. But just realize the higher you go, the less gallons per minute this thing is going to pump out, and the less efficient it's going to be. Once we come out, we're going to go to a 90. You can use a sweeping 90 or a regular short 90. Both will work fine. Sweeping 90s technically have better water flow, but use what you want to use. We use regulars all the time. Always have, sometimes will. You know, that's what I like to say.
Yes, sir.
Always have, sometimes will. Gonna put that on a shirt. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue this now, and then I'll get to this next cutting part and we'll be good to test it. All right, that's it. Threaded piece to a coupler, to the check valve, to a riser pipe, to a 90, and we're out of there. Whenever this float switches up, turns the power on, that pumps all the water out, and when that water level recedes, that float drops back down and the magnet automatically turns it off. All right, just got that water turned on. Filling this basin here. Oh, Jesus Christ. Should have water in the next basin. We do. And going down the line, flowing through the next. Yeah.
Where's the drill?
In the box. That one's on there kind of tight. Got water flowing. Flowing good. Here we start to get real steep, so it should be moving. And here's where it's entering. Just made it to that one. See all these like light debris, grass clippings, stuff that floats like that, that's small. These Zoller sump pumps can pump. It's like a mini trash pump. They'll pump out small items, which is why we like them. Speeds up going through here. Entering here, you can see it's got a little bit of sludge just from when we were backfilling and everything. Gets in the pipe. And now it comes out to here. Now it'll test that pump. Whenever it pumps, it usually cycles twice. That first one is going to be mainly air that it takes in. And, well, it takes in all water, but there's a bunch of air in the line. So you got to prime it with that first pump. And then pump it a second time, and that's usually when you'll start to actually see some water come out. Obviously, depending on how long of a length of pipe you're running to. But as that fills, that float will start to lift. And it'll click on. Throw this lid on here before it soaks me. Yep, I just heard it go. So that first one's just gonna be mainly air from the line. You can smell. Come on, Spy Kids. You can smell all that, the gas or whatever from the PVC glue. So we'll let it wait a second. Bingo. Comes out nicely in there. Not crazy pressure, which comes to the next one. And as those fill, they start making their way down. Now it takes quite a bit of water to actually fill all the lines. Make it run down. A little 7 gallon a minute garden hose isn't the prime test, so we'll definitely want a real rainstorm, but it'll come all the way down here to where Tristan's finished up and put in a pop-up emitter. This is just a 90-degree elbow. The bottom of it has a slit, so it lets water percolate down into it, and then the center of this circle right here lifts up this disc and lets water slowly come out. That way it doesn't erode or wash away anything around it. And that folks is the system. We are going to be doing the other side of this house as well, but I'll probably throw that into another video, because all that side is just a gravity system. One thing I might have missed out on is how we connect these downspouts. When running corrugated pipe, you can use a downspout adapter and directly connect to the downspouts, because you have a little bit of play in those downspouts, so you can push them down if you ever need to clean them out by hand and disconnect them. If you're running PVC pipe or SDR35 Schedule 40, then you're going to need to do clean outs a Y up there, because you don't have play in those. 2 basins back here. We just got to put the sod on, let this run a couple times, and get rid of all this dirt and trash, and we'll be out of here. Now, this next video will be coming in a couple days. It's going to be a shorter, really simple video, but it's to solve this side. This is the most common thing we do as far as our drainage work goes. We'll start off with just one catch basin. We have good slope on this end, so we'll carry it all the way down to the street, tying in 2 downspouts along the way, solid pipe. It'll be a half day of work, but those are the most common jobs. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you can see me first. Hopefully you learned something from this, or at least we're halfway decently entertained. I don't know. Joe, you got anything? Say something to the camera.
Well, boys, thank you for tuning in to another day with Grain Juice.
Time's up.
Okay.
Like, subscribe. Click the subscribe button to subscribe. Stay tuned for the next one. See you guys later. Thanks.